Hello. I don't know if I'm going to post this or not. This is definitely for my own benefit. Obviously, this is going to be another voiceover. There's not going to be any visuals. It's 4 a.m. and um but this is so important. I had to record it the moment I realized it. Um and I hope that it can help someone out there. And just to give a precursor to this, I have been through absolutely horrific abuse. Um Horrible abuse, socially, emotionally, mentally, um, even spiritually through the context of religion, to the point where at the age of 12, my parents ended up, and I was bullied too, horrifically. And to the point where I was diagnosed with clinical depression at the age of 12, which I didn't even get to find out about until recently. Um, and then at the age of, 17 and a half, 18, I was diagnosed with PTSD. The counselor said it was from bullying, but I knew better. It was actually from my dad. His bullying, if you want to call it that. Um, I got head injuries from my family. Because of all that, I've been diagnosed with seizures. I don't know if I don't agree with the darn quacks out there because they've diagnosed me with seizures and they've also diagnosed me with Parkinson's. I don't know. I agree sort of with the seizures. I don't agree with the Parkinson's. Either way, that's the precursor to this. But I've been suffering from, I guess, is what the effects of PTSD are, where I don't know what to call it. You hallucinate, I guess it is. Everything turns dark, sound turns off, and suddenly you're in a whole nother world. And you're just being attacked mercilessly. And thankfully now, because of the spiritual, I'm I know that it's because of the near death experience that I went through. It is literally because of that. Now, something happened with my neurology. Something was made better, thankfully, because of that. I don't know if it was the drugs that I was shot full of or what, but something, I could feel my brain physically changing to the point where now, when I go into one of these, I don't know what else to call it other than hallucinations, uh, somewhere in the back of my brain, thankfully, there's an echo that catches me, that lets me know, hey, you're not actually being screamed at by your family members. You're not actually being screamed at by these random people. You know, I I don't know if part of this is, I mean, I know it's PTSD. I don't know if it has anything to do with Asperger's or OCD or what, but I'm literally ripped away from reality and I'm being screamed at just like usual. But then I find out that it's not real. And thankfully now my mind is able to let me know that this is not real. At least something somewhere in there is letting me know that. But it can still be exceedingly difficult to pull yourself out of that and let yourself know that this is not real, this is not happening, this is not real, this is not happening. And the whole point to this, and this is what I hope will help everyone. The second you're feeling depressed, and I know from my own experience, when I'm bummed out, telling myself that this is, this is not real, this is not accurate information that my brain is giving me, it's such a laugh because everything in me tells me that, you know, that I am doing stuff wrong, that I can help whatever's going on, that I can, you know, do whatever, stop this financial loss, stop them from, whatever is happening, that I can do better, when honestly it's already out of my hands. I can't do better. But depression tells you that you can do better and you're not doing better. Why aren't you doing better? And you're a deadbeat and a loser, which lines, and then that goes right into, you know, that goes right into, literally my parents screaming at me that I'm a deadbeat and I'm a loser, and my brother and sister telling me that that I should kill myself, that I should die. So, that I should get up off my ass and everything. So basically, when the mind, your mind doesn't know anything, and people don't know anything except for what they've been told and what they've been taught, and that's what your mind replays back to you. So that's one bit of information. Your mind gives you what it has been fed. And if it's been fed nothing but abuse its whole life, so that's what it's going to give you. Abuse, because that's all it's been fed. That's all you know. So there's one aspect of it. The other aspect is, and this is what I wanted to tweet about or vlog about, I guess it's called. When you see yourself, if you can manage to catch yourself, let yourself know that no matter how worthless it may seem at the moment, that this is a hallucination. This is not the truth. No matter how reliable and truthful the information that your brain is giving you seems to be, just remind yourself over and over and over again and chant it, but make sure that your mind, your conscious mind, pays attention to it. Don't chant it in the way so that it's a brainless chant, so that it's totally worthless. Like some flippant little prayer you would say in the back of your mind, where you just, do it from rote memory, just, you do it because you did it so many times over, you just do it automatically now. It doesn't need to be like that. It needs to be conscious and purposeful. Tell yourself, this is a hallucination. This is not real. This is not facts that my mind is giving me right now. I don't have control over the situation. I don't have the ability to get them to not fire me. I don't have the ability to get them to not evict me. I don't have, just let yourself know that you're not a loser. You're not a deadbeat. And that whatever is going through your mind right now is not the truth. It's not fact. And if you can get your mind, especially your conscious mind, to realize that and focus on that, then you can get your mind to stop. And if you can get your mind to stop, you can get your mind to stop yelling at you, and you can drag yourself out of that darkness. You can drag yourself, and just getting your mind to stop yelling at you can stop the hallucination, and the darkness can fade away. But then focus on, keep telling yourself, this is a hallucination. This is not real. You know, I'm not ugly. I'm not fat. I'm not that poor. I'm not that much of a waste of space, a waste of oxygen. I'm not that much of a lost case, you know. Just saying that much, and then go further and say, and just keep saying that, and then say, first say it's a hallucination, get your mind to realize that, and then say, I'm not whatever what that thing was telling me. I'm not whatever that terrible memory was that I was stuck in. I'm not that terrible event that I was stuck in. That is not me. And then once you can get yourself to consciously say those things and realize those things, then after that, and also something that helps is tactile sensation, feeling something, hearing something crumple like that, feeling it, feeling the rain on your hands, feeling rough concrete under your, you know, um, some people I knew would even cut themselves in sensitive areas just to bring their mind back into reality, to get themselves out of the PTSD, to get themselves out of the flashbacks. And, just whatever works for you, whatever works for you, but whatever takes you out of that flashback, whatever takes you out of, because for me, the flashbacks and the depression are rolled into one, and one will set off the other, and the depression will set off a flashback, or the flashback will set off a depression, and the two will intermix and intermingle and become one. And before long, it's literally like I'm physically standing in hell, and I have undescript strangers screaming at me about how I couldn't get that paperwork done, or I couldn't check out the customers through the checkout line fast, or just whatever's been, randomly told to me through the years. And my mind just brings these things up, and I don't have any control over them. I can't stop them. And it's very much like a seizure. I was told that these are seizures, which goes along with the head injury, but I don't know. Who knows? Who cares? What matters is that I've been suffering through these things, and I'm glad I'm not showing my face on camera at the moment for this video, because, if someone watches one of these videos, they might not watch my others, so at least I still get my ambiguity like that. But I'm hoping that this can help someone else out there. If you catch yourself in the middle of a hallucination, if you catch yourself in the middle of a flashback, if you catch yourself in the middle of depression, self-hate, if you catch yourself in the middle of even real physical things, your world is going down, just stop yourself. And first off, if it's a hallucination, tell yourself this is a hallucination. That right there is the first and foremost key. Get your brain to just stop and recognize the fact that this is a hallucination. Or if it's a flashback, say this is a flashback. Some people, just admitting that terrifies them and shames them. It makes them feel so ashamed that they can't even admit that to themselves. So, instead of saying that, say it's a hallucination, literally. But just, whether you can say to yourself, this is a flashback, please stop. Or this is a hallucination, just say whatever word you need to say to yourself, or say it's depression, or say it's darkness, or say it's negativity. That's the nice thing about all the spiritualism. They give you other words for the word flashback. They say it's negativity, and it kind of it gets you to where you need to go, and it uses far softer and gentler words that can help So, and the other thing I do want to say, this is 15 minutes, so I got to cut this off. But the other thing I want to say is that I'll try to get my cards here. There's someone named Abraham Hicks, and she can actually help when it comes to hallucinations, when it comes to flashbacks, when it comes to PTSD. If you can study her stuff, now, I'm just going to say, this is a form of self-brainwashing, but there is such a thing as self-hypnosis. There is such a thing as self-brainwashing, but this shit works. Maybe not so much if you're clinically depressed. Thankfully, at the time, I was not clinically depressed, so this saved my life. Get this book, Ask and It Is Given, Learning to Manifest Your Desires. I know it's going to be, for a lot of practical, I don't know what else to call it, reality-based. You can call it depression-based, pessimistic-based, as people like this would call it. You know, whatever. If I want to call it more sane, if you're more sanity-based. This is going to seem like a pile of bullshit to you, but I have learned it has very practical, real-life application in the fact that, I hope you can hear me over the car outside. Anyway, this has very practical, real-life applications in the fact that, and I'm just going to sum this stuff up. It gets you to train your brain, to hijack your brain. And instead of your hallucinations hijacking your brain, and instead of your flashbacks hijacking your brain, you are consciously hijacking your brain through this, and I'm just going to call it a course. That's kind of what it is. But this gets you to consciously hijack your brain and say, no, I'm not going to hallucinate. No, I'm not going to flashback. No, I'm not going to do this stuff. I'm going to focus on the here and now. I'm going to focus on reality. And this tells you to focus on positive things. This tells you to focus on dreamy pie in the sky things. But you know what? As insane, as clinically insane as that sounds, it helps. It helps and it cures. And the back of my brain didn't believe this. I didn't think it would work, but believe it or not, after working this for 2 years, it got me to the point where, because I worked this for about a year. I read this stuff for a full year, and I tried it for about 3 months, literally. And then I gave up on it. I got sick of it. I got absolutely sick of it. Another book that you can try is just as, what is it? Jen Sincero. And then there's also, these are all literally the exact same book written by different people in different forms. There's The Secret. The Secret is Ask and It Is Given. And The Secret and Ask and It Is Given is this Jen Sincero, You Are a Badass at Making Money. It's all the same. It's all the exact same book, rewritten in different words and different languages. This might be more for anyone who's more practical and down to earth. This one especially. I like this one especially. This one is really a mythological trip. The Secret is straight out a mythological trip. This is like Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter. This is truly just, okay, sure. And this one is like going to church or something. It's like, okay, whatever. But these three can get you to take your brain and say, no, I'm not going to think on this negative stuff. I'm going to think on positive things. And I tried this and I gave it up, obviously. But I think I'm going to try it again here. But just to say, after not even having anything to do with this stuff, there has been one good outcome. and that it allowed the back of my brain enough room to stop and say, no, you're having a flashback. I almost swore, get the heck out of it. Sorry. You know, this allowed me to retrain my brain enough from a year of reading this crap and then trying it for 3 months. It gave my brain enough of a handle, and this is my subconscious mind, to where I literally, it's like I almost had a person in the back of my head telling me, you're hallucinating, stop. You're hallucinating. It was, and oddly enough, it was my mother's voice. She's still alive, but it was my mother's voice calling me saying, you're hallucinating, stop. You're hallucinating, stop. You know, get out of that. You're not actually being screamed at right now. Get out of that. You're, you know, and it worked. It worked. You know, tonight, for the first night ever, it worked. So I was actually able to latch on to that little still small voice. And before I started reading these books, I didn't have that voice. I didn't have anything to let me know that this depression that I was being dragged into, the flashbacks I was being dragged into, the self-hate I was being dragged into, there was nothing to save me. I was just dragged into it. And then I'd start fighting with it, trying to defend myself. And sorry, that was the point that I was trying to make in this video. I would start fighting with what everyone had told me in my life. And I would start fighting with them and fighting with them. And I was fighting with them in my head, but to me it was real. And it's worthless fighting with the past. It's worthless wrangling with yourself, saying, I could have done this, I could have done that, I could have, you know, hindsight is always 20/20. And regret is just a fact of life. Boredom is a fact of life. Fear is a fact of life. It just is. But to let your brain power and your energy and your strength and your time, and especially your sleep, because it's 4:21 in the morning, be ripped away by your mind berating you about things that you should have done, you could have done, knowledge that you needed to have, is worthless. And if reading these books helps, then read them. Check them out from the library. They're trippy as shit. Sorry, I shouldn't have. They're trippy as heck. They're trippy as heck. Darn YouTube and their stupid rules. But they're trippy as heck. But try them. And if nothing else, for me, they allowed me to stop a flashback. They allowed me to stop a cycle of depression. Only just this one here. It's merely a war. It's not the battle. It allowed me to stop a flashback. And I hope that this video helps everyone else, whether you end up believing this stuff or not. It doesn't matter. What matters is that there is good for this. It is worthwhile. Because I was wondering, what good is this? And I was wanting to burn these books. But I was like, wow, what a waste of money. And I was really, really regretting it. Kind of like the bike I bought. But, you know, so yeah. So that's it. If you find yourself in a flashback, if you find yourself in a hallucination, if you find yourself in depression, if you find yourself in any kind of downward spiral, don't fight with the voices in your head. Don't fight, don't fight, don't fight. The first and automatic reaction is to fight. That's always been my first and automatic reaction. It still is. It's everybody's automatic reaction. It's the fight or flight response, and you're either going to try to run from your own mind or you're going to try to fight your own mind. And neither work. The best thing to do is, I mean, you could call this fighting in another way, because it is. I mean, this is fighting in another way. This is, you could also call it running in another way. But, God, this is 25 minutes long. But, you know, the main point is to recognize, you know, stop your mind, tell it, no, this is a hallucination. Or, you know, if you can say it, no, this is a flashback. Or, no, this is depression. And just get your mind to stop. If you can just do that much. And then, and this takes strength that I don't have currently. Because the next thing I'm going to say is something that I just don't have strength for, but it's what these books are all about. The next step is to wrench your mind away from the negativity, the flashback, the regrets, the I could have, I should have, all of it, and to get your mind thinking towards happy thoughts. Think happy thoughts. I don't have that ability. Hopefully others, you know, hopefully whoever listens to this will. But there you go. This should help me, and I can't believe I'm like some damn fucking sorry. I can't believe like I'm some advertisement. Sorry. Which I don't mean to be. And I'm not going to edit this if I post it, so now I'm just sitting here wondering, how do I cut out my swear words? Anyway, I better stop. So that's it. Stop the flashback. Tell yourself it's a flashback. Let yourself know it's a flashback. And then if you can, think happy thoughts. Whatever that may be. Put your mind on happy thoughts. And being clinically depressed, when I tried to put my mind on happy thoughts, such as, well, think about Harry Potter, think about Lord of the Rings, my mind would immediately, instantaneously just turn those things into negative things, like, well, what's the worst things that happened in Harry Potter? What's the worst things that happened in Lord of the Rings? What's the worst things that happened in like X-Men, and then my mind would focus on those things instead of, and yeah, I would be out of the, the cyclical, oh, you're a deadbeat. Oh, you should have done this. Oh, you should have done that in the past. Yeah, my mind would be wrenched away from that, but now I would be in, I'd be analyzing a whole nother universe that would be, while it may be imaginary, it would be exceedingly dark, just as dark, if not darker than real life. But because it wasn't real life, I was able to face it versus, but that I thought that was working for me for years, but I realized that was just causing me far more depression. So, but if thinking on stuff like, I don't know, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter and all that stuff, X-Men, whatever, helps you and it actually does make you happy and it doesn't make you more miserable, then yeah, do that. And this is at the 30-minute mark, so I'm just going to cut it off. This was long and winded, but, how about this? My good vibes only case. There we go. So, yep, good vibes only. And I guess that's what this video is all about, having good vibes only. Or at least aiming for that goal. So, yeah. Bye. That's it for this video. Sorry to just cut it off. I hope that all of you can, I hope that anyone who watches this gets help from this video, and that it really does help you out, and that it lifts you out of the dumper. Because I'm telling you, no counselor ever helped me, but those books helped me. So, and believe it or not, those books helped me tonight. And it was so shocking and amazing. I had to spread the word. So, and actually, well, yeah. But just being able to stop one of those things was so amazing. I had to just blog about it. So, anyway, bye.